changing landscape of the housing market in Las Vegas requires a real estate professional that understands how to get your offer accepted, willing to go above and beyond for service and accountability. Hi, my name is Dan French. I've been in the real estate and financing industry for over 13 years. Most real estate agents struggle with answering their phone. Please call me directly, 702-557-6176. I'm available for all your real estate needs.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dan French. This is a Saturday, the French Workbench podcast. I have a full studio. You guys know this is the most real behind-the-scenes information on financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs happening here in Las Vegas. And I am your host. We're going to talk today about this strong labor market that we see going on. Also, we're going to talk about what's happening with the Jackson Hole in the symposium and how that's going to affect maybe interest rates going forward. And we got a lot of housing information, a lot of data. You guys know the familiar faces that I have here. Mr. Brett Jenny's back. Brett, what's going on, buddy? How are you, bud?
What's happening, man?
Dude, what's going on in your world, man?
It's been a interesting week. I did my first crypto class that I taught at Berkshire Hathaway.
Dude, you did, huh?
So, yeah, man, I got my nerves worked out and I kind of learned how to do the course a little differently, man. I kind of went in right away and dropped some terms. And what I learned is that about people with, if you come at them with even the basic terms of crypto, their heads are so smoking.
Well, you had a couple of people, though, that were in that school, right, where they were in the class and they were a little older, maybe didn't really get the concept, or was that an issue?
Mean, it's just, if you start out with anything, here's the terms on something with computers. Right away, most people are shutting down, even if you try to explain it pretty easy. So what I kind of figured out is next time I'm going to start out with the dessert, and then I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes.
Well, maybe you should start out with a cheat sheet.
Well, what I'm starting out with is here's why you're here, which is to learn how to do a crypto transaction with real estate, and here's where the future of real estate's going. Here's why you're here. So I'm just going to lead with that. So, hey guys, I'm not wasting your time. Here's why you're here.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to explain to you what I'm really talking about in detail. And if they want to jet out, they can, whatever it is. So
we'll talk more about that.
It was a learning lesson.
I'm going to ask some questions about that. Also, we have Doug Liebig, right?
Hello.
Doug Liebig.
Good morning.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good.
So what are you up to, Doug? You guys, you getting the same activity?
Yeah,
home inspections?
It's slowing down a little bit. It's not bad. It's 10 to 15 in the past. Now 5 to 10.
So does that make your day just easier, though?
Yes, it does.
I'm
able to go to the gym in the morning. I can run. I can.
I don't have to be one appointment to the next.
Yeah. I don't have to rush to one appointment. It actually makes it nice, and it's a comfortable living, whatever. But it's not staying up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning pumping those things out, reports out to try and get ready for the next day again, So, it makes it nice.
I always tell them I'll have it to them within a day.
24 hours, 24 to 48. Yeah, right? Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit. Doug, you'll be in on this. We're going to talk a little bit about home inspections here. But, again, home affordability, right? That's the big thing, the elephant in the room we always talk about. Is that starting to come back where home affordability, is there a silver lining? Because I feel that we're starting to see that, inflation, monetary policy, we had high rates. Although we're going to talk a little bit about rates, I do feel that home affordability and the psychological impact that it's having on people right now on buying, not just here in Las Vegas, but across the country, that they're coming back into this market, right? And it's just slowly trickling in. I'm not saying, everybody's just, oh, great, but they're slowly coming back. What do you think?
Absolutely. That's what happened, was supposed to happen, or I should say is always going to happen that way. And then what's happening right now always happens afterwards, which is you have everything just skyrocketing for not months, but a couple of years. So just like the mentality of when people freaked out when everything stopped is the mentality that people have when everything's escalating, going up. Yeah. And the market's a lot easier to do real estate for buying and just for the consumers for buying and selling because everyone's on the same page. Right. We all know it's going up. Buyers are coming in the market. They know it's going up. They know what's happening. And now when you have a sudden stop, and it was a sudden stop, so people needed to not only come off their sugar high in a sense,
right,
but they needed to come back down to reality, and then they got slapped right in the face out of nowhere.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it takes a couple months for people to kind of realize, hey, the world's not going to come to an end, and here we are. Let's start buying again.
So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to get your take on it, Doug. We're going to talk about that part of it with the home affordability, right? We're also going to talk about builders, and with this recession, builders continue to see the woes going on here where they're not getting offers accepted, or not just accepted, they're not getting offers as much, right? And now they have more time. We talked about it. Big thing there is that 16% decline in mortgage applications year over year. That's a huge deal because that's where a lot of people would come in and go find a builder. Scarcity, rates were low. Now that rates are high, we have a 10-month supply plus across the country, not here in Las Vegas. You're seeing builders now really regress, right? And they're really, it's,
And, the big difference between this time and during the housing crash in 07, 08 is I don't see builders overbuilding, right? So that was their problem for the last year, was that they couldn't keep up. They couldn't build fast enough. But now it's more working out in their favor, to do so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at the new home communities. Have you seen any new home communities that have opened, like grand openings within the last
Not at all.
2 or 3? Not at all. I don't even seeing any being like starting to be groundbreaking and opening.
Well, there is one, right? That up in Red Rock, up Far Hills. That one area up
there
in
are
Far
some,
Hills.
yes, don't get me wrong, but not nearly at the pace that it was going before. No. So, builders got caught with a lot of standing inventory.
Yeah.
That's going to work itself out. It's going to sell, and they may make less profit or a lot more less profit than what they anticipated with that last batch. But we all know they did well the last year or two.
Sure.
So that's the thing that I've noticed this time, which is they didn't overbuild. So
they didn't overbuild. We'll talk a little bit more in depth on that, and we'll kind of recap everything on that. Also, we're going to talk about 5 things that buyers in the market, they can ask for with sellers. And we'll talk about what some of those options are, because now you're starting to see price reductions, and really buyers are really going, all in as far as asking for everything. They're asking closing costs. So we'll talk a little bit about.
They want the kitchen sink.
They want everything. Hey man, they were getting. It's weird because you're on the other side of the pendulum, right? It's like for a long period of time you had to be forced to whatever the seller wanted to do.
I saw a buyer walk up to the builder and said, "Can I have the keys to your car?"
Right. Did they throw it in? They threw it in.
Your wish is granted.
Also, we're going to have a market
sell
update.
This son of a bitch.
We're going to talk to Doug here about
what's C8, right?
Right. You just saw your face. You're like, oh, I get
it. We're going to talk to Doug here about what's going on with the home inspection and home inspections out there, and also a market update here with the real estate market. And Brett's going to dive into some good statistics, or great statistics. I don't know.
Interesting statistics that are kind of counter what every realtor or everyone's screaming right now, which I like to rain on parades.
So let's get into this right now. So we have home affordability starting to see a silver lining. 2 months in a row now, we've seen that the market has improved for home affordability, and also the national median mortgage payment for conventional loans. Guess this. Last year was $1,361. That was the average. Not
$1,750 now.
It was now it's at $1,959. Whoa. So listen, what does that say? Look, you lost $600 in your purchasing power, roughly,
that's
right?
Crazy.
And that's a lot of money, right? Doug, have you seen a swing like that before in this market?
No. Because I wasn't really following it back in 04, 05.
Yeah, not as much as you are, right?
Not as much as I am now. Yeah, but
I haven't. I've been doing this 17 years. So.
I think too we're more savvy, right? There's more data, more savvy. We're more understanding.
A lot more
data. Information.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So
a lot of perspective.
Really
a lot of prospective buyers were on the sidelines, and you talked about this. We've talked about it. FHA, which was really. We don't really do a lot of FHA buyers. They're now back in the market.
They stand a chance now.
They stand a chance.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's not that homes were so expensive that you couldn't get FHA loans on them, which they
You
increased
couldn't get 'em.
tremendously, is that the list price add on another $30,000 or $40,000 on top of that.
Yeah.
So if you're bringing in 3.5% for a down payment, you're going to bring in 30. You don't have 30 or 40 grand, therefore you're not getting the house.
Now, I want to say
That's
one
the
thing.
market they were in. Think about that, man.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
crazy.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Doug?
Oh, just starting out, like a lot of people starting out, it's like we were just doing everything we could when we were starting out to
Absolutely.
get that down payment.
Been
in.
there, done that.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Now I'm
it's-
going to bring this up though, and I want you guys to really pay attention to this. So you looked at we had the recent report come out. We do like the last 7 days, and we'll talk about this here in a second. Now, we see prices going down. We've seen it happening over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks, but then you see it pop back up. Now, what's interesting is that home sales are down, right? They're down year over year, double digits, but home prices are still up in double digits in a lot of places, even here in Las Vegas. And it's like, okay, you saw the dip, you saw the reductions, and now all of a sudden it's stopped and it has a little pop back up where that value now, that average median price home has gone back up. I mean, what do you think about that?
Because supply and demand. Like the demand stopped, but the supply was even less.
yeah.
So, I mean, think about that. We've had an increase of listings by 150, 200% in the last 2 months. And that still hasn't really brought down home prices. I think 3.5% it has, or 4%.
Well, it's just
That's
interesting.
think
though.
about that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is there's no supply. So great. I mean, hey, if people are paying less for homes or interest rates are up or there are less buyers, that's one thing, and that's going to impact the market. But it doesn't nearly impact it if there's not that many people putting their homes on the market.
Well, but right now we're seeing over 10,000 all in available homes on the market right now. I think it was close to 11,000. So we can see the numbers, but you look at that, right? And you're saying, well, why wouldn't there be more opportunity? Wouldn't we still see a price reduction continuing to happen because of all the like you said, supply
You want that
that's
to
out
happen
there?
at a massive level, then you're going to have homes generally as a whole be sitting on the market 90, 120 days. Then you're going to start seeing people, everybody collectively as a whole, drop their prices. But if your home's sitting there 60 days or less, and you've dropped it twice, and then within 45 or 60 days it sells, why would your neighbor who's going to sell, why would they put theirs 5 or 10% lower than that? Well, that's still a normal market for buying and selling.
So here's the thing is back in 2005, 6, 7, we had half the population that we do now. I mean, we were like 1.2, 3, something like that. So back in those days, it was 15,000 homes on the market. Well, now you're doubled that population.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's why I brought that up.
We don't even know
because
with the way that the population has increased, specifically in the last 2 or 3 years. We don't know what a normal supply should be in Las Vegas,
right?
Because it's increased so quickly and the demand was so low. We haven't had like a really normal market in over 3 years.
Well,
yeah,
but you see what I'm saying? So, like, you're right. When I moved here in 2009, I think there were 15,000 homes on the market, which was very much a buyer's market. But taking consideration at this, with 15,000 homes on the market, there was an 11-month supply of homes on the market. It's a buyer's market when it turns over 6 months. They had 11 months, and that's at 15,000 with less people, a lot less people. So now we have even more people. And what's our total at? 10,000, 11,000? If it was a normal market, we should be at least double that.
Here's the thing, though. I think it's an alarming thing, and I'm going to tell you my theory on it. So you have inflation and economic uncertainty, why these buyers were on the sidelines, and now they're back in the market. Economically, uncertainty that it's maybe kind of settled a little bit. Rates kind of settled. Also, inflation, for the most part, people know it's obviously really high, but they started to see some slight positive signs there. Now, they have this symposium meeting, right? The Fed. And if they raise the Fed's fund rate, that's going to indicate, obviously, they don't have the inflation on point, right? They don't have it where they need it. But one of the things I have to say is that recently, I've seen interest rates go up a bit, right? This is the last 2 to 3 days.
What are they up now? To what?
5.5, right?
So
we were at
let me ask you this.
5.25.
When the Fed jacked it up 3/4 of a point, what was the highest that it got to in the last month?
Well, the Fed doesn't jack the rate up.
Okay, but
Right.
what was the highest interest rate you've seen in the past 30 days?
So we've been settled right around those low 5%.
Okay.
Right? It's been 5.125, 5.25. Okay. So now you look at it and you say, well, what's going on here is that confidence is coming back because now it's settling. You saw it come down. National average was over, 6%. Now you look at it, we're like low 5s. Now you say, okay, well, where's the confidence at? Well, people are coming back in, but we saw home prices still sustain itself, right? Overall, the median price, it's coming back up slightly. And then now you have an uptick in rates. So is that going to just be a short-lived position for these buyers? That's what my concern is.
That can kind of lead to the stats that I found the other day that I was talking to you about, right? As far as fewer homes being on the market, and which is a huge difference. There's not nearly as many homes on the market, and even the ones they are, let's look at some stats. So I was doing some research the other day, and I have the links to all these if anybody wants me to send it to them. In 2009, nearly 70% of the Las Vegas homeowners were on average $70,000 underwater in their mortgage.
Right.
70% were $70,000 upside down their mortgage in 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the last decade, Las Vegas real estate has appreciated 236%.
Wow.
236% since then in the last 10 years. Now, there are 625, 164 residential properties in Nevada that have mortgages. Out of that number, 53.1% have over 50% equity.
There you go.
See,
that's why
that
our
makes
market's
all
not
the difference
suffering
in
right
the
there.
world.
Yeah,
because that's
everybody
the underlying
everybody
factor.
was buying the view last time. They were
So
buying
I know
that $1
that's
million
not the number and what people want to hear about the world coming to an end right now with the doomsday, and I'm not saying things won't come down some and readjust, but that's the underlying.
Those are numbers.
Those are numbers. And everybody wants to have a worst case scenario about numbers. Those are numbers. You can't just not believe them because you don't want to believe them. Those are numbers.
Well, but you got to think too, like, okay, so that was the lowest point, right, for America, right? Would you think that was one of the big, I think that in the last 7 years, that was like the only real crash that we had, because that was a crash.
That was a once every 100, 125 years
right
thing. Like, we'll never see that extreme in our lifetime again.
I look at it as like this. That's great. That's great data, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I look at it as that's great data. Now,
Go Brandon.
one of the things I want to say, though, is that we have to look at it on a month-to-month basis, too. And now that's great information because you can say, well, markets always come back, how much we've appreciated. It's great information. I really, but I look at it like this. So within the last 3 to 4 weeks, I saw positive signs for home affordability really coming back for the average consumer out there, right? And I'm like, great. This is going to bring some balance because that's what we need. We don't need 1,000 homes on the market, right? Or 100,000 homes on the market. We need a balance market.
We don't need, nor can we sustain 30% appreciation in a year.
Correct.
Duh.
Yeah.
So coming back
Correct.
to earth with our head is all of a sudden now weird. I mean, that's how spoiled we've been. That's what people understand.
Yep.
Man,
Have
this is
you
normal.
seen more people now, though, coming back into market looking for homes, right? Are they starting to call you again? And look,
Yes.
I don't want to be biased because, look, a lot of people out there think realtors are out there just to sell the hell out of housing.
So I'm just telling
we make
you,
money that way.
I'm telling you based on my personal experience, it's basically in line with what you said earlier, which is slowly.
Well,
So what I'm doing now is you had probably a month, 2 month period where I had nobody responding, nobody reaching out, nobody doing anything. And now they're starting to reach out to me. Hey, how about this? So they're not quite over the threshold yet where they're actually doing the action and pulling the trigger. Mm-hmm. But you can see them getting in the batting cage right now and warming up.
Right. And then to your point, Dan, it's like I talk to realtors every day. I got, at least one or two realtors I talk to every day.
In your back pocket.
Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But they're all saying the same thing. They're working with several buyers.
Yeah.
They're working. They have buyers.
Just
that they're looking for.
buyers know they can. They're
They're actually
their time
looking.
now.
They're actually out there looking now, and they have choices and
time.
Time.
You have time.
Yeah.
Now
let's see. I'm making probably the biggest purchase of my life. I actually have a minute to think about it.
Yeah, right. No, I want that one. Yeah, let's go for that one. Yeah, right.
So I think of it too. Like there's agents out there that say that they're really doing well in this market. I can't see. I'm not going to say that everybody's doing or not doing well. But what I'm saying is, you have to be real too. Like this market has definitely gave us a couple of black eyes, right? I mean, we've been having it so good for so long that you have to think back and look back that, man, we had some banner years.
That's the key right there. It's been so good for so long.
Right.
That's the theme that people forget.
You got to break dragging on the vehicle.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it amounts to.
Like I said, hey, man, it's like life. Life is made of good and bad.
Yeah.
Enjoy the good, man, because the bad will be there.
Hey,
but enjoy the good while it's there.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, shit, the bad's going to come. The bad's going to come. Enjoy the good. And then get through the bad. Like
it's just unrealistic to think that you're going to keep having those years. And look, when it goes back to the home affordability, really, you got to think too, man. Our business is really based on what the economy does in our markets.
Absolutely.
If the
it's based on emotion too.
It's based on perception, and sometimes perception is reality, and sometimes it's usually it's reality, whether it's the truth or not. And that's just the way it is.
And then as an agent too, like you have to go out and you're actually a therapist. You're dealing with people's emotions. They don't know if they want to get into. Think about it. You're out there looking at a house today, and it costs you $700 more in today's world because of rates and the price of homes than it did a year ago.
I get it.
Where's the motivation, right? I mean, I think if you still need to buy, you still need to buy. But let's be real. I mean, agents are suffering. Lenders are suffering. Buyers are coming back. They're not coming back in, big waves, but
listen, all of this coincided with school starting.
Yeah.
Nobody's making a move or anything like that when school's going.
My Augusts are always slow.
Yeah. Just by nature of it being August.
By nature being August, yeah.
So we know that home affordability is getting better. Look at Las Vegas, though. Las Vegas, we know still, I feel like it's the outlier because, look, a lot of parts across the country are coming down and keep seeing reductions. A lot of these states, we've seen 50% reductions on some of these homes, 40%, 30, 40%.
Hold on.
Vegas is definitely an anomaly.
Where have homes gone down 40%?
I've seen it happen in, I think they said Florida. I think,
40%. Yes. Home prices went down 40%.
Yeah, I think it's gone down quite a bit.
Home sales went down 40% or home prices?
Home sales
have
went down.
We need to make a distinction. That's a huge difference between home prices going down 40% and home sales going down.
Home sales,
yes. I absolutely agree with 40, 50%.
But that's what we're talking about is home sales.
I thought you were saying home prices.
No, home sales have declined.
There's a distinction.
Home sales have declined. Yeah. Right? I've said it. We're the outlier.
Yeah.
Home prices have sustained themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Sorry. My mistake.
That's all right. And if you look at the home prices here, we're still up 10%. Right? And you've seen a lot of these homes that you see on the market right now. What do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think that these properties are going to continue to keep like volatile, going up and down, up and down?
I think everything sells at the right price, and I think something's worth what someone's willing to pay. So that's what we're figuring out right now.
Hey, that's genius.
It's true.
It is.
So we're figuring that out right now.
Yep.
So you think
it's a balance between it's a dance between the buyer and seller right now.
So what do you think?
That?
Let me ask you this question. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with home values right now? You think they're going to continue to come down? What do you think? Because we talk about home prices, which they've sustained.
Yeah, so I think home prices have a little bit to go yet before. I mean, because what's really going to stop? So it's okay.
Do you think
within the amount of sellers right now, you have your different groups, right? You have your sellers where it's like I got to get the F out of Dodge and whatever it is, and I just need to da-da-da. Then the other ones where they have a little more time to be strategic. My kids are gonna be having kids, so I've got like 6 months to kind of get across. Whatever
I got to move to Tennessee.
Whatever your scenarios are, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody that needs to sell right away, then you're gonna keep dropping it, which will impact the neighborhood to a certain degree, but that price point will be found out, and the rest of them, once buyers start stepping in, it's like a stock or crypto. Once buyers start stepping in at a certain price, then the sellers kind of know this is the price we can.
Is it a price?
This is where it's at.
Is it a price or is it a confidence thing? See, we're talking about
both.
Home prices have consistently
well, the price
stayed up.
is determined by the confidence.
Right.
So you're asking how far will it go? I don't know, man. I don't see it going down 15 or 20% just because there's so many people that have so much equity that the number of people who I need to sell right now, and the rest of them will do. Listen, the normal seller is going to probably do in a normal market 2 or 3 price drops, and it usually sells, in a normal market within, say, at the bottom half of it, 91, 92% of the list.
What
price.
about now?
That's kind of where we're at right now, right? But what I'm telling you is that will take 60 days, 90 days for a seller to make those price drops. Within 60 to 90 days, a lot more buyers will be stepping in.
So listen, here's why I'm saying this. All right, so we agree that home prices have sustained themselves. And what I was going with this, and this is why I'm asking this question, is I think there's a psychological position. You look at other states and they've declined in home sales, right? Big numbers, right? Some of them are 20, 30%. Why I'm saying that is we haven't seen that here. I don't feel like we've seen a huge drop. Like we've seen drops, right? We've seen price reductions. At what point in Las Vegas, if we ever get to is where buyers start to come in and say, okay, you know what? I feel more confident. I don't know if it's a price thing or it's more of a economic inflation outside of my control thing.
Within the next 30 to 60 days, they're going to start stepping back in, but they're really going to feel comfortable with a majority of that happening probably early spring, late winter, February.
So you're saying
March.
the beginning. I agree with you on that. I agree that first quarter of 2023, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I think
fourth quarter's not
I
gonna
don't
do
think
good.
it'll get that much more worse. But with that being said, I don't know. That's what we're discovering right now. We're in a discovery phase right now.
That's what my point is.
You know?
We're on uncharted waters because we've never seen these prices of homes this high. We've not seen a combination of rates.
Well,
and
we
prices
have, but
together.
we saw the end result of the other one.
Right.
But the circumstances were different. So, right?
Absolutely.
We've seen that scenario, but the circumstances are two completely different outcomes.
Doug, what do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the home prices versus the home, not the total sales of the home? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Well, just from my point of view, I think people are getting over the shock. I think I think you guys are right. I think October is going to start. We're going to get slammed this fall. I think things are going to get pretty rough, but I think at the beginning of the next quarter, I think things are just going to start popping.
There's going to be a lot of discussions at the family table over the holidays.
Oh, I believe.
Trust me.
Yeah, I believe that's right. So, but what I'm hearing from realtors right now is they're all thinking that this is actually a good time to buy, and then just
It is.
cycling that through my.
You just don't have any competition, so you can. I mean,
Let me say this though: okay? So look, a realtor, and I want to make this clear: a realtor is going to make any market seem desirable. I always look at it the realtors, which is good. So
Yeah.
I'm not calling that out, but I'm also saying, well, what are people telling me? And what I'm getting from it is mixed signals. I'm getting, well, it might keep coming down. I think that they say that rates are going to keep going up. They also say that, well, it's not come down far enough. You got people still sitting on the sidelines because they can't afford these mortgage payments, $1,900 a month.
so here's
Right?
here's what I would say is you're right in a sense of the good news is we're a realtor and we know what we're doing. The bad news is we're a realtor and we're always going to say now's a good time to buy.
Well,
the consumer,
100%.
the bad news is they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, how about this?
Not compared to like a realtor. They don't do it seven. They don't do
people-
it 7 days a week.
No,
So
and most
they're-
people buying a home aren't educated in the economics of the real estate.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
so like I understand the point of, hey, we're a realtor, we're always going to say, but my response to that is, yeah. Well, on the other hand, too, consumers don't. I'm not saying they're not informed and can't get the information out there, but they're not nearly as informed as somebody who does something 7 days a week, every single day for years and years and years.
Well, see-
so on the other hand.
See, the other thing is too is the infrastructure here in Vegas has built tremendously over the last 12 years, 15 years.
It has.
We got the stadium, we got the Sphere, we got all sorts of stuff going on, new communities.
Doug, you remember, and Dan, you remember 2009, 2010? Dude, this town was like, it was a know-nothing, like,
yeah.
I mean, this town
it
was like, to say it was down on its luck.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was a completely different town, wasn't it?
It was completely different. It was based on gaming, and that was it. And
but
gaming and tourism.
like, how this, dude, just living here, man, it was like the sorrow just dripping off your brow every single day, everywhere you looked. Yeah. And then everything that we have now that's been built up in the past 12 or 13 years, man, it's a completely different city.
You know what I think the city has transformed from a blue collar town to more of a
truly international city.
International.
We're just not an international city because you can do shit here you can't anywhere else.
Right.
We actually have other reasons why we're an internationally known city.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is it attracts. I mean, you're not going to attract people from out of the country into some place in the Midwest. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Most people I know like to move to Cleveland.
Right. Well, let's say this. Okay, so going back,
the armpit of America.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's either Florida or Las Vegas. People don't want to move to California. Everybody's moving out of California, but it's either Florida or Las Vegas on the West Coast now.
Well, I can say too. I think there was parts in. I don't know the states by offhand. Like I'm trying to go off of memory what I was looking at, but there's been states that's lost a lot in sales, home sales. Arizona, I think it's Denver,
Idaho,
California,
Boise, big time.
Maybe down. Idaho. I think it is Idaho. So here though, it's different. Like we don't see that same drop off, and I think that's all it is. And it comes back. I want to ask you this question. It comes back to realtors are telling you it's a great market. Everybody out there that's in the industry is saying it's a great market. What is your opinion though? Your personal opinion on this market? That's what I'm looking for.
My wife and I have talked about it, and I don't see us. We were talking about where, if we were to move somewhere, where would we move? And I really, coming from the Northwest and living all over the United States, I don't really know any place other than maybe Florida. I kind of like Florida. I went to all my aviation training down in Florida, Pensacola, and I liked Florida. But that's really the only place that I could think of.
Do you know where you would dig?
Where?
Wyoming.
I do okay there.
I'm telling you, you would dig the shit out of Wyoming.
I do okay in Montana. I do okay in Wyoming, but still, I mean, you got the 24/7 town versus the roll up the doors at 8:00. And you kind of got to.
No, I know. So I'm from the roll up the doors.
So my question though is so from a perspective of personal, you're saying that you would move here for personal reasons. What I'm saying though is like if you're looking out there and you're talking to people, and it's not just realtors or lenders, and you're asking people, do you have confidence in buying in this market? Are you getting the same return, like the same response? Because I get it mixed. I get people that say, and I call people all the time, and people call me and they go, Dan, is it a good time to buy? Dan, I might have to wait a couple months. I want to see what the Fed's going to do. I want to see prices come down a little bit. So I think that's kind of what I'm saying is, not just it's a blend, not just your personal experience, but from others that you talk to.
Yeah, I think the people that I talk to, they're on the opposite end of the spectrum, where they can't stand it here and they want to go back home, and then they love it here and would never leave. Yeah. And I don't think the prices are gonna. I don't think they're going to really, because with your stats, 50% of them that are 53% that
have 50% or more
equity. There's no
50% equity, dude.
Yeah, there's no reason to leave. And why would you leave?
And if you want to stay here,
But the thing is I think there's two types of people, and there's ones that are looking to make it big. They've always, there's always a market to make it big in. And then there's ones that absolutely can't stand it, and they don't care one way or the other, and they're looking to go back
or
home.
this town isn't what it used to be. I'm gone. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, right.
But then they never usually leave.
Right. So I think it's there's a mix, but I think the people that are realistic, I think those are the ones that I talk to that are staying here and want pull the longevity
If somebody said to me right now, is now a good time to buy, I would say, you tell me.
Yeah, that's a good. That's
well,
a good
I mean,
point
you're the consumer.
That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking you too is this. I get what you're saying. I'm asking you from your perspective and in this market.
Well,
your opinion, is it a good time to buy, or what are some of the pros and cons, right? So because for me, I can say, look, any realtor, any lender, anybody in this industry could sell you on why you would buy.
All right.
I think it comes down to give me.
That's why I would ask them. You tell me.
Well,
why are you considering buying right now? Why would you want to buy versus rent right now? You tell me, because everybody has different reasons and are in different situations.
Well, how about not just renting? What if you want to sell and move up? I mean, there's a lot of contingent offers. There's a lot of people that just want to sell in general.
If you wanted to sell and then turn around and buy, I would say we're going to probably have to take it in the shorts selling, but you'll get it back when you buy.
So here's
it washes itself out.
Here's what I've seen with the $1 million sales. These people are selling their home, but they've made, like, say, they went from 1.2 to 1.5. So they made $300,000 on this house, right? But they're making concessions to sell their house because it could have been more, but they're still making $300,000. But then you got the ones that bought a $500,000 house, and they're not going to have that kind of equity to be able to move up as much.
Well, here's what I'm seeing is being weeded out right now for sellers. Is I can't tell you how many times in the past year. And I was just going through properties today. I went through a ton of properties today. And I can't tell you how many of these people, it's two scenarios for these kinds of sellers. Either they bought a new home and it took a year to build, and they closed on it at like $521,000 in April, and now we're 3 months later and they're trying to sell it for $650,000. I've seen that time and time and time again. Another one.
Let me say this. I'm going to say this, and you keep going. But do you think they did that because they thought the market was going to continue to go up, and now they're just trying? Yes. Now they're trying to salvage.
But dude, they've been sitting there a couple months now. But here's the thing, man. You're trying to sell it for like $120,000 more. You can come down and you'll still make money, right? Yeah. I mean, but they're just not like they're still. So that's what I'm saying is right now the market is teaching those people. It's educating those people. That's who it's affecting the most right now. Or a house flipper where they've bought it for $700,000 and they've put it on the market for 1.2 and they've done like maybe $100,000 worth of work. They were getting away with that for the longest time too. Those are the ones that are sitting now too. Those are the ones where it's like, listen, man, I understand that you bought it and you got a good deal and you stuck in some work, but you're trying to make like a $500,000 profit off of $700,000 off something that you should, be making $250. Well, but it's like you can. I mean, I've seen property after property like that in the last probably month.
One thing you got to take into consideration too is that this town isn't as transient as it used to be.
No, it's not.
You used to have people moving in, and I used to call them throwaway houses because people would come in, trash the house, and sell it for $100,000 more. And that was from about 2000, 2001, 2002, whatever it was. And people are actually staying longer now, moving here, staying longer. And time always has
because it's a more diverse city.
Yeah,
it's not just entertainment construction. It's actual careers and jobs and IT and
time always has an advantage to the amount of money that you're going to make.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's kind of segue to another topic here. I want to keep moving because we're running out of time, but I want to bring this up. We talk about home builders. We talk about the recession of home builders, right? Where they've materials, and we just want to make a very short window on this. But as far as our conversation, these builders now are suffering. We got 10 plus months. The home index has gone down, right? The new home index. Confidence is lost, right?
What's the home index? What is
it's
that?
Like a confidence barometer for builders.
Okay.
That tells you what, are builders doing well? Do people have confidence? Are they buying into these homes?
Okay. It's like they're getting a room temperature.
Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly right. The barometer. And so that's down, right? Below 50. And so you have builders now trying to push things out. So what do you see out there with builders? Because I feel that, yes, they have more time to try to make this work where they can really look at and focus on some of these properties that they were trying to complete, but they're still really, really slow. And I feel like they're just stopped building. And I wanted to get your perspective and also yours What do you think is going to happen with this builder situation? I mean, are they ever going to pick up again at any time this year?
I told you I saw a builder give a buyer the keys to his car.
I'm serious.
So am I. Drove away. No.
Well, dude, there's a builder that's a high-end builder that gives that if you buy their house, they give you a Tesla.
Is that Live?
That's yeah, Live.
That's like when I went to college and paid $20,000 a year, but got a free fucking T-shirt. Thanks.
Right.
and
Back
dude,
in those days.
it's crazy, dude. So go ahead. What were you saying?
I think,
Builders,
I think right now it caught the builders off guard. But here's the thing: the way that it was going for the builders with the demand is so. How does that story end, man? Right? When I should say when things are going red hot like that for the longest time. Do things ever just naturally? Oh, well, that went well. No.
Well,
we found that focal point of where it was at, and things came down. So now you've got this group of homes here that they were on the slates to be completed in the next 2 or 3 months that they're kind of in a sense stuck with right now.
Cadence, have you been down to Cadence lately?
Yes.
Okay, so I did one there a couple days ago, and there's houses in framing, but there's a ton of lots. There are a ton of lots that haven't been touched. And so I think these guys are going to start, the builders are just going to, when you get the order,
then they'll start doing it.
Yeah.
But that's the way they used to do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's how they normally did it. It wasn't until things were going crazy and they couldn't keep up that they literally started building them ahead of time. And they only started doing that at the end because they're like, man, and the homes, it's not a matter of now they have time to complete those homes. We didn't have time. They were supply chain issues.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look,
everyone knows.
What did builders do though too for that? They got spec homes, right? Or they have
but that's what I'm saying is so they got caught in this transition where at the end they said we're sick of dealing with all these consumers yelling at us 24/7 of these things that we can't help right now, supply chain issues and all these things in demand because we can only pull permits so fast and blah blah and all that stuff we're just going to go ahead and start doing all these spec homes at once, which we've never done before. And that coincided with like the market. So now they've got this batch.
100%.
But that will be worked out.
That's a very good point.
That will be worked out by the end of the year. Mark my words.
When you combine the spec home position that these builders were in, so they already had almost ready homes to come in. You're just putting in 4 things maybe in the house. And then you have slowing higher rates and then slowing permits, right? Where permits started to slow down. I mean, dude, it's a death sentence.
It's like, dude, they're damned if they do and damned if they didn't.
Right. So,
it's like, honestly, they've done a good song and dance. Considering they're like some of them are Fortune 500 companies, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like people don't understand on a massive scale what that.
So your guys' opinion on this, because I want to get your opinion, is do you feel that the builders market will come back also in the first quarter in 2023, or you think that's going to stay stagnant heading in the middle part?
I think it'll be normal.
What's normal?
Normal is they'll be building them as the buyers come.
So supply and
demand. But they've already got the land. They've already got the roads cut out. They've already got the lots.
Utilities are all
utilities already there.
For that to happen, though, you need to have an influx of buyers that balance the market for the amount of homes that's listed, and then builders can slowly come back in the market. So we need more confidence, more buyers, more influx of buyers coming in for the builders to kind of get back in the game. Right now, they're on the sidelines. They're the water boy, right?
So
they're just
they really are. What they're going to do is what they've normally done again, which is as people come in the door, they'll build. They're not going to build ahead of time.
I understand.
They're not going to build behind the time.
But what I'm saying at that part of it though is you're saying that there's still going to be buyers out there that want to buy new homes. What I'm saying
is if buyers come in, they will build them. If buyers don't, they won't. That's what I'm saying.
Correct. I agree with that statement.
And I think a lot of people who have owned homes here for a long time, I think those might be the people that are looking to buy new homes eventually at some point.
Dude, I've got so much equity in my house and blah, blah. I just want to, I can get a good deal on a new home right now and get what I want.
So I don't think the builders are going to suffer a whole lot. I think they're going to kind of stay steady. Like you said,
they've done a good song and dance considering.
Yeah.
So let's talk about incentives real quick and move on. So what are some of the outrageous or extravagant incentives some of the builders are offering now to buyers out there?
Keys to the car.
You said that. I mean, I've seen 6%.
Dude, three times I got away
get
with
off
that
the
in show.
keys.
3 times.
I know, right? It's like Wisconsin. You got to say it 3
Yeah,
times.
I
during
told
the
you
show.
I wanted to say my Wisconsin story today, which you didn't let me do.
I'll let you say it right after this.
Okay.
So here's my thing. So listen, going back to it, builders and what they're doing. What are some of the incentives that you're seeing? I mean, is it getting even further out there where it's like, man, they're offering, everything in the kitchen sink?
No, I mean, they're all offering something. The most extreme ones, I've always seen this with, I think, one builder, and it's with American West by Rainbow Crossing. And they're doing 6% closing cost, as in they're covering all your closing cost, and they're buying down your rate, and they're throwing at like another $20,000 in flooring credit.
Holy shit.
And then they've already knocked the price down like $100,000 already.
Yeah,
so
but that's only, and I've seen
that's
it too.
a few of them. And then most...
Here's the other
because
thing,
I
though.
just asked around for Shay and his wife, and they're $450 and below for just Henderson to the Southwest. And I think every builder came back with, on average, they were given $10,000 of closing costs if you used the builder's lender.
Wow.
Here's the other thing.
And then homes were already
I want to say this.
dropped in
Discounted,
price.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your situation with that is absolutely true. Now, what I've seen in these homes too is they're already those upgrades that we saw in the homes with that price reduction. People don't think that's a premium, but it's weird because if you knew what we knew 8 months ago, what those costs were,
Yeah.
you got the
That's
windows
what I'm saying.
and all the and the railings. That is a premium because now you're walking in not just with an $80,000 reduction, but you also have all the upgrades that come with it.
That goes back to realtors doing it every day and having more information than like that's what I'm trying to say.
100%.
Not from an arrogant stance, but just that's what I'm trying to say.
It's almost like a bigger incentive because
Yes.
you're getting like maybe you have the stacking doors or you have the rails or you have the
finish.
windows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the LED fireplace that was
Dude,
put in.
Let's say even they do $10,000 in closing costs, right? If your house is a $450,000 house, what's your closing cost on that going to be? $12,000, $13,000?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I could probably get them in and steamroll them an extra $3,000 or $4,000 to pay all your closing costs right now. To be honest with you, say,
Yeah,
dude, I got
I mean-
a willing and able buyer ready to pull the trigger right now.
Dude, and they would do it.
And they would do it.
They would do it.
So I could,
100% they would
basically
do
all
it.
of your closing costs. I mean, dude, that's $12,000 in your pocket, man.
They're looking at it going,
know?
we just got to move on.
Yeah.
Like we've already got losses here. We just got to
Yeah.
cut our losses as much
Dude,
as we
you know
can.
what? You know what it costs in Wisconsin to close on a house? Like $1,500. When I moved out, because I sold real estate in Wisconsin before I did out here, I came out here, and the first closing, I was like, "What? Huh? Who?" I was
isn't it
like,
just a different
"Holy
world?"
dude, completely different." I was like,
Yeah.
"Shit, welcome to West Coast. We're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy."
Nah.
All right, so let's get into this here real quick. We're going to do a quick market update, and then we're also going to talk with Dougie here
Yeah.
about what's happening with Dougie.
All right,
and then I want to hear your story. So
No, we gotta
we're going to wrap it up here
Okay.
real quick. So,
wrap it up like a condom.
yeah. What? Wrap it up like a what?
Condom.
All right, man. So let's go over this real quick. So talk to us.
Rubber.
I'm going to give this to you. You can take control of this here.
You need to act a little more mature. You know?
Go ahead, Mr. BJ.
There you go.
Come on, BJ.
You take the right one and stick it. Oh.
So talk to
All
us.
right.
What's going on? All right.
So we're looking at the medium sales price. We are at a height of 481,000, correct?
Yes.
And we are down to 465.
Okay.
ain't bad.
Now go to the matrix right there
Where?
at the top.
Right
top
here.
tab.
Yup.
So if you see that,
Boom.
we've come down, right? So overall, the average
We've
median
come
price.
down from where?
So the average median price in the last 7 days has actually come down, and at one point,
Where do you see that?
well, I see that the average close price, the starting price, the list price is 465. I think that's what they're coming off of, right? Off
Where?
that.
Where's the
Keep
465?
going all the way down to status. There you go, right there. List price. The median list price is 465. You're not seeing it all the way at the
Yeah,
bottom.
right there. I got
So
you.
the average close price was 450, right?
Okay.
All right. So anyways.
Okay, I know what you mean now.
Okay.
All right.
So
Sorry.
So anyways, this is over the last 7
Peter
days.
Carson sandwiches.
Right.
okay.
Right. And so let me just take that back real
Yeah,
quick.
there you go. I lost my privileges, dude. I lost my mouse privileges.
I was trying to hook you up, man.
Son of a bitch. I wanted to
Trying
feel
hook you
important.
up, man. So let's go back over here. So what we're looking at here is this is a month to month, and you can kind of also,
No, I don't.
go in.
I don't
with
want to
this
mess it up even more.
465, right? That's the average median price. And then you look over here, the new listings that's come on the market, and look, we're doing this on a month to month. This is at 4,800 homes, right? New listings, right? This is single family residence. Let's see if that's what
for
it
the
is.
new listings that are on the market.
Yes.
So what we were at a high at.
So let's do all. You want to do all properties?
No, go up here.
Oh,
What
up
was
here
that?
is 5,000.
So in June we were at 5,000, and now we're down for listings.
What does that tell you? That tells you that the market,
It's
to me,
it's keeping in balance with itself.
well, it also tells me that if people were looking to list, they know that this thing's declining or that they're not getting what they want.
Yeah.
Properties are sitting on the market more. So what it tells me is that maybe people are hesitant about putting their house in the market now because they're not going to get everything.
or
that
I've got
they
so
want.
much equity and such a killer interest rate. I'm good. I'm just chilling.
Possibly.
I mean,
Possibly.
that has to be somewhat of a contributing factor.
1.9% interest and
Dude,
50%
that has to be
of your
somewhat
home.
of a contributing
Well,
factor.
well-
I'm not going to find a better deal anywhere else. If I buy a stock like Tesla at $500 and now it's at $900 and it's never gone below $800 or $750, why would I?
Yeah, but you can't look at it like that. You got to look
No,
at it.
you can.
No, listen,
You
that's part of
should.
it. That's part of it. Let me say this though. What if you're clearing $200,000 off your house?
Yeah,
Are you
I
really
get it.
gonna, are you really going to pay attention to that because you're saving $100 a month? Hey, I'm not giving up that 2.5 rate, man. I'm saving 200. Like if
No,
I'm
but
cashing
it
out,
depends on whether you're going
if
to
I'm
stay there or
cashing
not,
out
right?
$300,000 though, and I have somebody that's a viable buyer and they're ready to go in
Sure.
and do that, dude, I'm pulling the trigger.
Okay, so then you're going to probably go and buy something of equal value. So now you just took your profit and put it
here's the
into that.
question. So here's the question.
I mean, you want to pay me as a realtor for you to move from point A to point B and not really accomplish anything. I will gladly do that for you.
Here's the question: would you rather cash out and have equity
just
rich
joking,
in your,
everybody.
or the money that you pull from your house in your bank, or would you rather stay in a 2.5 interest rate? See, for me, you can't pull the
point.
money out.
Yeah.
You got to go and cash out, either refi
Yeah.
or do something. So I'm probably going to diversify and have that money in my bank so I can do other things. Yes, I might take a higher rate, but I still have 250. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
250 sitting in the bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
You might not get that again. You might not see that in your lifetime. You don't know.
I know. So there's got to be at least a contributing factor. So
Homes for sale.
Yeah.
We're up 84-14 homes for sale, right? And so you look at this and you say, well, let's look at all property types. That's 11,182 homes on all property types on the market right now. That's a big deal. That's up. Look at that. How much is that up, Brett? Can you read that?
61%.
61%.
So
Wow,
how many
look at
months
that.
is that?
How many months of what? Supply?
Yeah, let's look at that number. That's the only number that matters.
Well, let's look at it.
Well, it's not the only number that matters.
months
The number
supply
that
right here.
People will go by.
2.9 months supply.
And what did we say was buyer's market?
Well,
After 6.
after 6. Now,
So we're half of that.
here's the thing, though. on
We're
this.
good.
So, yes, in Vegas, I mean, any city, any state, 6 months plus, good. In Las Vegas, though, how many times? I mean, we had that 11 months, but does it have the same feel that we have to be at 6 months here? Because I feel that this is a different
I don't know. I
market.
don't live in any other city.
Is the old 11 months the new 3 months? The 3 months.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, what is it, right? Because you don't have a consistent pattern of month supply, days on the market.
You're
that's
right.
very consistent.
Especially
here in
the
Las
last 3
Vegas.
years. So that's exactly what I'm saying, though. But if anything, we can all agree that 2.5 months is better than half a month.
Oh yeah.
But dude, to say it half a month is like record. I've never in 17 years seen that low of supply in my entire life. But that's what I'm saying is even increasing 65%, we're still half of what would qualify for a buyer's market.
So let's go back to this.
I mean, you got to look at the number we started from,
and
man.
here's
know?
one thing to think about too: is the dollar is still high.
Yeah.
The dollar, the DXY, the dollar index is still high. It's still like 109.
Yeah.
So I mean, that dollar is still strong against
Yeah.
the world, or supposedly, you know.
Let's go one
So-
of this last things, and I agree with you on that, Doug. Let's go to this here with we have days on the market because you want to see that, right, Brett? So let's look at that single family residence days on the market. It's 12 days.
I would say it's higher than that.
Well, the average days on the market is 18. So
I would say it's higher than that right
would
now.
you though? I mean,
I would say it's
you got
probably.
to think
I would
of
say
how
it's-
many properties on the market.
Dude, I would say the average I'm seeing right now is probably 7 to 8 weeks.
I mean, look.
I mean, I don't sell a
So-
million
so let
homes
me
and I
say
don't
this.
cover $5 million homes or.
So let me say
you
this.
know, but
the only way I see that that's even happening is if you had like maybe new homes. I don't know. Maybe they were involved on the actual closing data. I don't know. Or the days on the market data.
Well,
because I mean,
it might not be fair
I don't
with
think
me
it would
assessing
be.
it at that number. Listen, that's the number that I've noticed, but to take in consideration, that's also including a time where things went from something to nothing overnight, and you had a bunch of sellers that listed their home right and thinking this market, and it went to this market immediately.
Right.
So there's going to be a month or two in there before those sellers kind of like, oh shit,
Well,
I got to change things up. So
Yeah.
it might not be a fair number right now for me to, but that's what I'm noticing.
They missed
is
a gear.
probably 2 months.
Yeah.
But you know, in all reality, there's probably a month of that where it just like was.
The reason I
shaking
say that is
everybody up.
because from listings and looking at listings and what we have, this is why we're saying this. We're just trying to throw a curveball here, but why does it seem different, right? And I think that's what it is because
Yeah.
we've seen a lot more days on the market. So that's it. I want to end this real quick. I want to talk to you real quick. Tell me your. We'll talk.
Doug, let's
to
get Doug now.
Doug, what do you got going on over
What you
here,
got
buddy?
going, Doug?
Duger.
Well, we've got the home inspections are staying pretty steady. They're not coming in. They're not scheduling out a week in advance like they were. You know, the homes are actually pretty diversified, that I'm doing from condos to $1 million homes. Got some new homes, and it just all. I learned something kind of interesting this week. I was talking to another realtor that actually bought for investors, about 6 homes, and they're new homes. And you remember back in the day when pools, you could get a 20 by 40 pool, like a 20,000 gallon pool, for about $40,000, $45,000. Well, I understand now that those same pools that you were buying for $40,000, $45,000 back then, are now $110,000 to $150,000.
We got to bring our pool guy back on.
Yeah.
we got to talk to him. And
yeah,
say,
we
dude,
do, man.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I got a guy. That's crazy.
That is crazy, and it was just It was just like off the cuff. It's like, oh yeah, we're doing 6 pools, and the guy who got the contract obviously,
Dude,
loves them.
I'm just buying a slip and slide.
We'll buy one of those little above ground fill up pools or whatever. But so I thought that was pretty interesting. But I do inspect pools, and there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of homes out there with them.
Yeah.
I don't know what the moratorium is going to be. I think there's going to be a moratorium on pools. With their, I think it's, I can't remember exactly when it was going to be, but there's something out there that says after a certain point, only so many, you have to put the permit in and apply and all that other stuff, and they'll look at the amount of pools that are.
I mean, at some
in
point,
progress.
man, we got to quit finding bodies in Lake Mead.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, and so, but I think pools are going to start getting limited here too for homes.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I've heard that a couple times now. And this one person,
What's the reason behind that?
Water.
They're
Just
gonna make you recycle your piss and everything.
yeah, but just I mean everybody with the yeah, right.
That's why Brett acts the way he does. Brett, you drinking your own piss?
Microdosing.
Yeah, right. But no, from what I've heard, there's going to be a moratorium, and so pools are going to be at a premium, and so that's just something to look at down the line.
Brett,
But,
I love your stories, man. So, anyways, if you guys are out there looking for a home inspector, we're gonna have Doug back on every
week.
Saturday.
Doug's the man.
Every Saturday. And I want to say we got 2 minutes.
Oh, we got 2 minutes?
Yeah, talk your story.
Telling Dan earlier this week, he
Yeah.
was talking about things we've done in the past. I said, did I ever tell you about the time I outran the cops? He goes, you did not outrun the cops. I go, I sure as shit did, Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It was like 2000, 2001. I was coming down this hill onto this main avenue, and there was like another car coming up against me, and I was like being stupid, so I was like, all right. So I come up, and we start racing each other, and we're going like this, and that car took off, but I just kept on hauling ass up there. And I'm going up this hill, and I look at my behind and my tail lights, and I see these cherries pop on. And I'm like, oh shit, where did he come from? But I was at a moment where I'm coming over this hill and he's still far enough down behind this hill. So there was about a good 10 seconds where I go over this hill and he can't see me until he comes over the hill.
Right.
Dude, I go over this hill, he can't see me. I whip it around, go off on a side street, go about half a block down, whip it around, pull in behind like 3 other cars and kill my lights. That cop went flying right by with his cherries on.
I
outran the cops.
I actually tried that in high school, and the guy I pulled into this house, and he goes, "You weren't trying to outrun me, were you?" And I'm like, "No, sir. I was just looking for a place to pull."
Yeah, no. That's a different person. Prove it was.
That's
that was kind of my thing. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, I look at it, I was like, no way, man. I just got away with that.
Yeah, that's good.
So
man.
I'm a rebel. Just want everyone to know.
That's
You're
good.
a rebel,
If you hire me, you're hiring a rebel.
I'm gonna say something, dude. You have the energy like nobody, bro. And I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's that whole, I don't know,
Microdosing.
Wisconsin thing.
Yes, microdosing. Anyways, guys,
I'm kidding.
We're going to end the show here. So I want to say this. If you guys are looking to buy a home, a great place to get started would be to go to lvhomeprofessionals.com. Take a look at that. Also, my YouTube channel. Check that out as well. And if you guys are looking to sell your house, this is where you can go to put your information in. Brett, you have an Instagram account?
Vegas Crypto Agent. Vegas Crypto Agent.
Absolutely.
At IG.
If you guys want to get a hold of Brett, who's an amazing, amazing person, he's going to bring the energy. He's going to bring, and I always want to say this, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh.
This show is not the same, or is not the show if you're not coming on.
Well, you know.
Also, you as well,
Love
Doug.
me or hate me.
No. We all much love, man.
Hey.
Much love. And Doug, same thing for you, man. You know, we don't have the FWB if you don't come on, because you've now instilled and entrenched yourself into this atmosphere. Appreciate you always coming on, as always, man.
I appreciate it too.
LV,
We'll give you a free reach round.
Okay.
What's your Brett will do that. No, I won't.
Dan likes to watch.
So, Brett, what's your LV Home Inspections, right?
lvhomeinspections.com, and my number 702-806-5280.
Guys, check them out. Hit up my channel, LV Cryptors. Also hit up the LV Home Professionals if you guys are looking for a home. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday. It's been a great show. We'll see you then. Thank you for watching the French Workbench Podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and you can find us on audio-only options through SoundCloud and iTunes.